Are you waiting on a lightning strike? Are you waiting for the perfect night?
Thank you for tuning in to Unstoppable Angels, where we get into candid conversations about turning your pain into power and becoming unstoppable. As you know, your story could be somebody else's lifeline. So make sure that you share your story and let others learn from you. Today, our guest is Cindy Bauszus, and she is the CEO and owner of European Heels, the 12-hour heels. I know how they feel because that's the only kind of heels I wear. And I'm really excited for you to get to know her because she also has an amazing offer for us on a discount on these amazing shoes. So Cindy, hi, how are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm so glad you were able to come in and talk to me today. This is awesome. So how are you doing? What have you been up to?
Oh, I'm planning I'm planning the whole year. I mean, these shoes are getting on so many women's feet. It's amazing. I have booked 8 conventions for the year. I am targeting realtors. Any businesswoman who's on her feet, she's going to be unstoppable. I will tell you that, just like I am.
I mean, that video of girls running, that's just crazy. They're running around a quarter-mile track in heels. So that is something to definitely be able to be very proud of. And I know that you have put shoes on at least 1,000 women and bringing other women in way more than that. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I am from a small town outside of Buffalo, New York called Forestville, New York. It's a rural area. I grew up, I had horses, a swimming pool, real country. I graduated with only 66 children in my class. So, pretty small. Everybody knew everybody, that type of lifestyle. And I was anxious to I knew when I was probably, about 12 years old that I knew I did not want to live there the rest of my life. I didn't see myself meeting my husband there. I knew that. So I started working. I started out, I used to tie grapes with my girlfriends for 13 cents a vine. That was my first real job. Yes. Getting up early on a Saturday morning, just tying grapes to make some money and getting some conversation with girls and have fun. And then I was babysitting like crazy. You know how that is. And then at 14, I started working in a Greek restaurant as a waitress. I really wasn't at the age to work, but I begged and I knew the owner. So I was like, please let me work in this restaurant. I want to make some money. I want to get a perm. I want to do something with my life. Right. So waitressing was a big part of my life in the beginning, I must say, until until my car accident, I should say. But I waitressed for probably, a good year. And that's going to high school. So I used to work from 11 at night till 7 in the morning on Friday night and Saturday night on my weekends. Yes. So I knew all the local cops would come in for coffee. It was a Greek restaurant, but it was open 24 hours. So lots of those cops would come in and, do their little coffee and get some dinner. But I was really happy working there. And when I got time to do some things with my girlfriends, I would. So I'll go right to what changed my life, I will say, is I was invited to a party.
What is tying? Wait, hold on. What is tying grapes?
What is tying grapes? Oh my goodness.
Tying grapes. What is that?
Oh my God, that's so funny. So there's grape fields, so many of them in New York State, you can't believe it. But every spring, the grapes need to be trimmed and cut back, and then you tie them down to the next vine, and that helps them produce more leaves and grapes. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get much produce out of it. And there goes all your grapes. So they make a lot of wine and jellies and all that up in upstate New York. So that was what I did. Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't do it for very long. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I love wine, so you would think I would have a clue about that.
Yeah, but somebody has to do that. Well, somebody had to do that back then. So that's what I did for probably one summer. That was all.
So you're waiting tables all night long, which is crazy to have a 14-year-old, by the way, waiting tables all night long.
But I made money and I felt good, And
so, did you go to college?
Well, before I went to college, that's when my car accident happened. So I was a senior in high school, and I was invited to a party. It was on April 1st, April Fool's Day. And I had just been to my parents' house. I had to stop by with my girlfriend driving the car. We had I think it was a 76 or 78 Camaro, but it was kind of a rust bucket, back then. And we had just seen my parents because I had to stop by and get some clothes so I could spend the night at my girlfriend's house. Of course, my parents did not know I was going to a party. I told them I was babysitting, So I just left my parents' house and we were on our way to this party, and we were coming into the town and we were going around a corner, a pretty sharp corner, and the speed limit was about 35. And literally, I just remember looking at my girlfriend as she's turning the wheel. The car's not turning, and I'm screaming her name, and I'm like, oh my God, Jackie, what are you doing? And she's my best friend. And I'm like, you're not turning, what the hell? Next thing you know, okay, there goes my goosebumps. The next thing you know, we hit this tree. And I was literally, back then, we didn't wear seatbelts. So luckily, it was good that I didn't have my seatbelt on, because my head went diagonal. My body went diagonal. So my head was actually in the back seat of the car. But when the accident happened and we hit this huge, gigantic tree, maple tree, I believe it was, my face went through the windshield as I'm looking at her, came back, and I landed in the back seat of the car, but diagonal because my legs were still in the way. And I do have some photos of the car, and it's hard to believe, but the whole Camaro front of the car was just smashed in on my side, because that's where we hit the tree. So my right leg was completely shattered. I was a mess. So I remember waking up as this accident's happening, and I literally I couldn't believe what was happening. And I just passed out. And I understand from hearing later on that the cop that showed up to the accident, I actually knew him pretty well since he was one of my customers, and he didn't even recognize me. Can you imagine that? He didn't even recognize me. And my heart stopped. And when they came, they had to jump me. And luckily everything was fine. And they took me to the hospital, which the hospital wasn't very far away. I'm guessing it's like 2 miles, a mile and a half away. And they called my parents, and my mom answered the phone. And of course they used my last name, which is her maiden name. She's like, oh my God, what happened to my daughter? She came to the hospital, and all I remember is all the x-rays and moving around on the chair on all our x-ray tables. And oh my God, and my mother's yelling at me, what the hell has happened to you? Oh my God. And next thing I know, they said, she is never going to walk again. We need to get her out of this hospital. If you have any chance of helping her, she better get to the next hospital, which is an hour away. We'll put her in an ambulance, because we need to get her definitely looked at. These broken bones, her femur is completely shattered. And then I broke the bottom, the calf area, whatever that bone is, from your knee down. And that wasn't as bad of a break as the other one. So they put me in the ambulance, and away I went. And I remember, I have pictures. I looked horrible. I had so much. I was swollen, like my leg was like huge. It was amazing. I was horrible. And I had all these tubes and blood running and everything. And my mother had taken me to the best hospital she could find with the best doctor for bones. And honestly, this doctor was so mean. He was horrible. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be walking. They said I would never walk. And I thought, oh my God, I can't live my life in a wheelchair. This doesn't work. No way. I am 17, almost 18 years old. How can this be happening to me? So this doctor, he had the second day of being in the hospital, he's like, okay, Cindy, bend your leg. And I'm like, what? I can't bend my knee. What are you talking about? And he's like, bend your leg right now. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's mean. But he got me into physical therapy. I was in the hospital for probably about a month because my leg was not healing. So the shattered bones were so shattered, they needed something to mend them. So they actually, I went into another operation where they actually took out some bone marrow from my hip and put it into my leg and the femur to like get it close enough so that they could start growing and healing. Luckily that worked. And I was almost a month in the hospital. And of course my face, now keep in mind, my face went through the windshield. So I had all these glass pieces coming out of my face. Part of my eyebrow was gone. I had scar. Oh, it was a mess. And here I had never had, other than 2 stitches in my hand, I'd never had anything happen to me. So this was like pretty major. Yeah, it was a hard thing to get through. Like I said, the doctor is what pushed me. I mean, I knew I could do it, but you know, when you've got someone behind you saying, come on, girl, you know, let's go. So, yeah, with no time, I was in the wheelchair for probably about 6 months, maybe a little less. I had to go to my prom in a wheelchair. I went to my graduation on stage in a wheelchair. I mean, my life totally changed. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Were you in any sports?
Pardon me?
Were you in any sports?
No, I wasn't in any sports at that time. I had horses, so I was really into that, but not with the school. I used to play volleyball, but nothing, you know, on a regular basis. So I was graduating. So, you know, I used to have a tutor to come in and would basically tutor me right in the swimming pool because I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. And little by little, I was limping and I was on crutches and I overcame that, which was awesome. But I must say it gave me a lot of strength knowing that I could do that. Oh my goodness. And that's when going back to college, I wanted to be a flight attendant. That was my dream. When I was younger, my dad lived in Florida. So we used to fly to Florida to visit him over Easter. And I loved flying. Oh my God. I would go with my sisters. So I was the one pretending to be the 13-year-old, even though I was 10. And just so I could be the chaperone of my sister, who was 2 years younger than me. But I love to fly. And I decided I wanted to be a flight attendant. So I moved to Pittsburgh just as I got out. Well, I had to wait for this to get the walking and the physical therapy down because I was supposed to go in September after I graduated. And I told my parents, no way, I'm not going to college in a wheelchair. I'm just not doing it. I can't do it. Let's postpone this for 6 months. So I moved to Pittsburgh and I started this travel school, which I really loved. And then United Airlines came in and they were looking to build their new reservation office in Northern Virginia, and in Sterling, Virginia, not just outside of the Dulles Airport. And they were looking for people. And that meant if I wanted to work for United Airlines, I was going to have to quit this whole career that I was going to do and just focus on United, stop the schooling and take this job and let's do it. So I did get a diploma. The travel school was, I'm trying to guess, it was probably like a 4-month schooling. So I had actually got my degree, but I had already signed up for United. So that following September, I took the job with United Airlines. And before I decided to do that, my stepdad and I went to Virginia and he said, well, before you take this job, let's see if you can even afford this. Let's see what this area looks like. Well, of course, Virginia is beautiful. I loved the difference in temperature. I loved everything about Virginia. And my stepdad, we looked at apartments, looked at the area. We spent like 1 or 2 nights there. And on the way home, he said, Cindy, I'm sorry, but you just can't do this. I mean, you can't afford this. You're going to be making $18,000 a year. There's no way you can afford the rent of $800 or $900 a month. I mean, I'm sorry, but it was a nice trip. And I was like, no. I am doing this. I am getting out of here because it doesn't work for me. I will make it work. So lo and behold, I went back to that waitress job, and I worked, I think 2 months straight. And I got so much money in tips. I had saved enough money. My parents decided to co-sign the lease for me. And I just said, I'm doing it. I work 2 jobs if that's what it takes. I am out of here. So I started with United. I had an apartment, and within I think, I don't even know, 4 months, I was outside. I was at the time had a boyfriend, and I was yelling at my boyfriend because I had had enough of him lying to me. And I literally kicked him out of my apartment and told him it was over. You move back to New York. We're done. I can handle this rent without you. Go. And as I'm yelling outside, the leasing agent and the manager of the apartment complex said to me, oh my God, you are amazing. They're like, what do you do? I said, well, I work for United Airlines. And they're like, well, we need you. You are fantastic. Let's get you a job. Would you like to be a leasing agent here at the rental property? And I'm like, oh my God, this is so perfect. I said, but I work at United and I work from 3:30 to midnight. And they said, well, great. We need you from 8 to 2. So I started working as a leasing agent at this rental property, which helped me with my rent. So I got a discount on my rent. I didn't have to have a roommate. And I worked these 2 jobs for, oh my goodness, probably 4.5, 5 years until I decided to move on and go to be a travel agent at the time. Everybody was, leaving the airlines and starting travel agencies. And I I became a travel agent and worked myself into being a travel manager. I worked at several different places, and I actually worked for a place called MicroStrategy in Virginia. And my ex-husband happened to work for that company in Germany. So I would organize all the travel for his company worldwide, and they would have 2 events a year. And that would be Friends and Family, where everybody in the whole world would come to DC, and I would organize the event and do parties. I mean, I had help. It wasn't like I was the one in charge of everything, but I had handled all the travel for everybody. And then the other thing they had was in January, they had a company cruise. So organized all the flights for everybody to go down to the cruise. And basically that's how I met my ex-husband. When I met him, we didn't speak English very well. We had a translator. And I just figured I'd see him. I met him on getting on the ship, literally getting on the ship. I met him because he didn't have the paperwork to get on. And I was trying to help him, and he was giving me his first name, and I thought it was his last name, and it was a little bit of a mess trying to get him on the boat. But long story short, literally 9 months later, I was moving to Germany. I mean, he stole my heart, and he used to visit me once a month, and we had this long distance relationship. And I traveled to Europe and just saw the beauty there.
I mean, because how old are you?
I'm 28.
28, okay. 28. I'm like, you got a whirlwind going on. I'm like, man,
it's like I just decided, you know what? I feel comfortable. I had met his parents. I saw Germany. He took me to Spain. I had been, I had dinner in a freaking castle. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like a dream come true. I'm going, let's go. So unfortunately, I had to quit my job as a travel agent, and I was hoping to start something over there. But in the meantime, I needed to learn German. So that was not a fun thing to learn. I'm telling you. I wish I would have known how hard it was to speak another language, especially German. But I accomplished that pretty much. I did 1 year of schooling, and literally I was working again, and I was speaking German and making German friends and loving Germany. I mean, I love the vacation that you get in Germany. I mean, we're talking 6 weeks of vacation, and we were traveling all over the place. So I don't regret my living in Europe at all. I mean, it was the best part of my life, actually. And then in 2018, of course, let me back it up. I have 2 children, a son, yes, and a daughter, 18 and 15. And let's see, I left them for the weekend to go with my girlfriend down to Spain. And I had never been to Mallorca, Spain, which is an island. And keep in mind, I haven't been able to wear heels for over 20 years. So my car accident, I recovered very well, but I can't wear heels. I mean, I can't walk. I can't go to Disney World and walk for 6 hours and not have pain. I mean, it's just, my legs are messed up, you know? So I'm on my trip to Spain, and we get to the little town of Mallorca. Palma actually is the town. And we start window shopping, and I see these beautiful peep toe heels in the window of this shoe boutique. And my girlfriend's like, oh, we gotta go in, we gotta go in. I said, no, you know, I can't go in there. No, I can't wear heels, and you're just gonna tease me, you know? So the man comes out and he's like, come on in. And I know, with his nice accent and everything. And next thing you know, an hour later, I'm walking out of there with my black peep toe heels, 3-inch heels. Wow. I know. Well, the reason is these shoes have cork in them, and there's a 1-inch platform. So they're really only 2-inch heels. And when you put them on, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I felt like I put dancing heels on, like instantly. I knew. I was like, oh my goodness, these are so stable. I felt like I could run. I felt like I could do aerobics in these shoes. I'm like, this is weird. I have never tried on cork heels in my whole life. This is amazing. And he said, we'll see you again. And I was thinking to myself, right, I'd be probably waking up tomorrow with like crippled is how I felt. But I was going to give it a try. So I ended up having so much fun. I felt so alive. I can't even tell you. We went dancing. I was running down cobblestone streets. I was like a new woman. It was so amazing. I felt so alive. It was like I was reborn. I couldn't believe it. And my legs were not hurting. So I went to bed and I thought, well, I'm going to be crippled, but you know what? I had so much fun. It's okay. Well, I woke up that next morning. I said to my girlfriend, oh my God, this is a miracle. My legs don't hurt at all. Not at all. I said, come on, girl, we're going back to that boutique and I'll buy more.
Yeah.
And I buying 3 pair of shoes. I mean, 3 heels, all 3-inch heels.
That's awesome.
Here's a woman who hadn't worn heels for 20 years. I felt like I was a little girl again. I was a teenager. I felt so empowered. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, my husband's going to kill me. $700 later.
What was that?
I said, my husband's going to kill me. $700 later, I'm coming home with three pairs of heels, but I'm coming back as a new, oh my God, vitalized, amazing woman that feels so damn good. And that's what happened. And then, go ahead.
I was going to say, I had an injury to my foot. And when I met you, I was like, I can't wear heels. There's no way. There's no way I'm getting heels on, or tall heels, especially because I just can't. And you told me your story and I'm like, you know what? I'll try. I'll give anything a whirl once. Because if it'll work for you, if it can work for me, that's freaking amazing. I will be all over this. And I got those shoes, and it was during a convention. And normally I'm taking my shoes off the whole time. Like the second you sit down, you're like, oh my God, my feet. If I could wear heels, I was wearing like that high, and I would have to take them off. I realized I had the 4-inch heels on. 3? Yes, you did. Yeah, I had 4-inch.
You had the 4-inch on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I was still dancing in them about 13 hours later.
Yes.
And I wasn't taking them off. I actually bought like 5 pairs of shoes while I was there. I was so happy. I was like, I got these and I got these, and now, yeah. So it was really fun. So I just wanted to add that in because it's like, that changed my life. So I know exactly how you feel about it, because that was such a freeing moment. It's like, you know what? I can wear sexy heels again. I'm 5'11", so people are already like, you're so tall. Why do you want to wear them? Like, because I like them.
Because I can. Because you can.
Exactly.
Well,
okay.
Look at all those ladies that we met at that convention. I had changed so many women and those 3 days I was there, women that were 70-year-old were sitting down in the chair, trying on these 2-inch heels, which are really only a 1-inch with that platform. They're like, oh my goodness, I haven't felt this young in 20 years.
I know, it was amazing.
They feel like they're 20 years younger. I mean, I am so delighted.
Okay, so now let's go to the next part, because you've gone to Spain, you bought these shoes, and so how did we get to where we are? Where I was able to get to wear these shoes and to buy these shoes. So how do we get there?
So what happened was I went to Spain the next year, my second year to Spain, to the same island, go to that same shoe boutique. And I'm like, okay, what am I buying this time? And I bought 3 pair, and I ended up buying these ones that red, a rose gold, and a black pair. And I brought them home to Germany, and I said to my girlfriend, you know, between the two of us, we just bought 12 pair of shoes, and we need a freaking discount. This is getting expensive, you know? So I ended up reaching out to the owner of the company, and I was like, do you speak English? First of all, yes, I can speak some English. So I said, you know what? These, I love your shoes. I have not been able to wear heels for 20 years, and you made me so alive. I just love these shoes. Is there any way that I can get a discount? I live in Germany. And he says, we don't ship anywhere but Spain, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, he says, when are you coming again? I said, I'm coming next June. I come every year. I'm coming back. And he says, okay, you know what? If you buy 10 pair, I will give you a discount. I said, okay. I said, my girlfriend and I just bought 12. He said, well, you know that we only sell shoes to boutiques. I said, well, I think I am a boutique. I said, I just bought 12 pair. Yes, my girlfriend and I do happen to wear the same size. So that's how I can say that. And then he's like, you know, I think I like you. I think I like you. And I was like, yay. I said, let me be my own boutique. So every year I would go, and my girlfriend and I would order the shoes, tell him on the via text what shoes we wanted. He would ship them to our hotel. So when we get into the hotel, we're like, where's our box of shoes? Where's our box of shoes? And I mean, we're screaming. We're so excited. We're throwing, you know, we're like, oh my God, look at these, look at these. And this had been going on until 2016. Every year I was going. So there's 3 years into it. And then unfortunately, my marriage came to an end, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. But I was determined to get through it. I was married for 19 years, and you know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And I just figured I will get through this. I can't live like this anymore. I had no intentions of moving to the States. I love Europe. I never wanted to move back to the States. I mean, I was very happy in Europe. But keep in mind, my whole family's in the States. And I was still grieving and sad and crying through months and months of wanting this divorce, but I still wasn't myself. And my girlfriend said to me, Cindy, I am going to be in Denver, Colorado for a trade show. And I want you to get on the next plane and come and visit me for 5 days. You need to stop crying and pick up your life, and you're going to be just fine. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Well, at the same time, in Germany, they have a holiday called Carnival, where they celebrate Carnival, like in Brazil, and all these festives. Well, the kids have no school. So my ex-husband was taking the kids up to a ski vacation, and on a ski vacation, I thought, well, great. I actually do have 5 days. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm freaking going to Denver. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to get out of this rut I'm in, and I'm moving forward. Now, keep in mind, this whole divorce thing, we're only talking about 4 months, but I'm a pretty fast person. So in 4 months, I wanted to be okay and normal and move on, you know, but I know it does take a little longer than that, but nothing was going to get in my way.
It's the high heel sprint of the century going on right now.
I've never seen such a determined group of high heel sprinters.
They've got the heel of the tiger, that's for sure.
They're all in European heels.
Competing today are 1-inch heels, 2-inch heels, 3-inch heels, even a 4-incher. And they're on their mark. And they're off.
Good form as they round the first curve.
How can they run like that in those European heels?
It's the cork foundation in the shoes. It acts like a natural shock absorber.
If they can run on these heels, they can do anything.
They're pounding that pavement like a herd of gazelle. So far, nobody's tumbled to the ground.
They're approaching the finish line.
Hey, you know, you'd look good in a pair of those heels.
I would look fantastic, and I could run like the wind.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I could keep running in these 4-inch heels all day long.
I thought for sure I would break an ankle, but I could run all day.
Fall in love with heels again. You can't beat the feel of a European heel. European heels. Heels without the hurt.
So I come to Denver, she's staying downtown, and I'm having a good time, going to happy hours with her, going shopping during the day. And I see, of course, it's snowing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, in Germany, we were like, if we get an inch of snow. And then what do you know? The sun comes out, it's a beautiful day, the snow melts. I'm like, oh my God, Colorado is beautiful. I can't believe the sun. This is so great. So I flew back after 5 days. I had a nice time, thought nothing of it. My girlfriend calls and says, Cindy, you won't believe this, but the company I just visited asked for your telephone number. Is it okay if I give it to them? And I'm like, sure. I'm like, why do they want my number? Cindy, they want to offer you a job. I said, a job? I didn't even apply for a job. I live in Europe. They're like, they want to call you. I said, fine, they can call me. So literally I got on the phone with them. They flew me back out to Denver 2 weeks later. They offered me a job. I was only there from Friday to Sunday. I looked at 10 houses, of course, rented the first one I saw, but who knows, right? I looked at 4 schools for my kids. I accepted the job. And within 2 days, I was back on the plane, going back to Germany, telling my ex-husband, yes, we are really getting divorced. Let's get this lawyer stuff together, because in 4 weeks, we're moving to Denver, Colorado.
My goodness.
I had to go through the whole house.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing was getting in my way. I was doing this, and I did it. It was very hard once I got here and everything started to come together. Like, what did you just do? But in the time period, I was just going. I felt amazing. And then going back to my shoe story, I went to Spain the following year to visit my girlfriend, and I saw the Santa Fe shoes. And I'm telling you what, those shoes, I had just been to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I thought these were Santa Fe, New Mexico shoes. I was like, these are beautiful, turquoise, coral, black, beads. Oh my God, these are gorgeous. So I bought my 3 pairs of shoes again, right? I literally brought them back to Colorado. I walked from the restaurant in Cherry Creek, which is a pretty nice area in Colorado. I went from Cherry Creek, or the restaurant, dinner table to the bathroom, and 3 women stopped me. I was like, oh my goodness, where'd you get your shoes? And all of a sudden, I was just like telling every single day, somebody, I get them in Spain. You have to go to Spain. You have to go to Spain. So finally, I decided to call the owner, and I said, you know what? These women are going crazy. They ask me every time I wear these shoes. Where do you get these shoes? And I said, I just keep telling them they have to go to Spain. And he's like, no, Cindy, you need to tell them they can get them through you. And I said, through me? He's like, Cindy, I want you to, sorry, I have goosebumps come back. I want you to be my US distributor. I want you to take care of this whole market. We've been around since 1951. We are in Australia, Europe, Hong Kong, Japan, Europe, but we're not in the US. I don't know anyone in the US, but now I know you. I've known you for so many years now. Let's get this going. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is amazing. Now that I own 18 pair of these shoes, now I get a really good discount. So I started on November 1st of 18. I literally got in the car and I drove to Aspen, Colorado. And I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. The first shoe boutique I walked in, I thought I was going to be there for like 4 hours. I put enough money in the meter. Within less than an hour and a half, I was out of there. I had an order. The woman was like, Cindy, I've been looking for you. We have Pedro Garcia shoes, which run between 600 and 800. These Spanish shoes are exactly what we're looking for. Here's my order. I'm like, oh my God. So I said to my girlfriend, come on, we're going to Vail. We're going to Vail. So we drove from Aspen. Aspen's like 3.5 hours from my house. Then we drove to Vail. Went in the second boutique. There wasn't the owner in there. She's like, oh my God, Cindy, I want them. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, these shoes really are a seller. I can't believe this. So literally, just fast forward a little bit. Now we're in November. We're still in November, but the end of the month, I decided to have a shoe party at my home. So I invited, I don't know, I didn't know anybody here because I moved here knowing no one. So I had my realtor and a couple of her friends that came. And the second party I had, she asked me if her girlfriend could be invited. And I said, sure, she's a realtor as well. Well, her girlfriend, who's my great friend, she sat in my house. And the first time she tried on these shoes, she spent 3 hours here and she bought 19 pairs of shoes. She can, because I do offer customized shoes. You have 7 different heel heights and over 100 colors. And she created 19 pair. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I definitely have to do this. I mean, my goodness, I've got so much opportunity here. Let's go. So now everyone had to wait six to 8 weeks to get the shoes. And my business coach at the time said to me, I want you to put together maybe 5 pop-up boutiques. See what you can sell the last week of January of 19. And I said, okay, I'm going to try and sell sandals. Yes, I am. And I think we're good with the time. So let's just keep going. Okay. So I decided I had 5 parties at people's homes where they invited their girlfriends. And there was probably only about 10 of us at each party. I couldn't believe it. All these ladies only tried on samples. All these ladies had to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get their shoes. And I literally in 10 days sold 90 pair of shoes in the winter in Colorado. I was like, oh my God. That's when I decided.
You got to show the Santa Fe. Do you have it right here?
No, I don't have the Santa Fe right now, but I can take off what I have on right now, which is very similar. I have the confetti.
Oh, yes.
This is a shoe, you probably can't see I have like blue on, but this shoe changes color with any color that you wear. So it looks cute with magenta, with white jeans. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's gorgeous. I knew you had them on.
I always have the Santa Fe on. Those are my favorite, of course. But today I decided to try something else to show people how you can, how they're so versatile. But back to what happened. I decided in March, I need to start having inventory. Spring is coming. I need to get these women out wearing shoes, telling people about shoes, spreading the word. Let's get this moving. And I'm telling you what, that's exactly exploded. I mean, women, probably 70% of my customers are repeat customers. I mean, you can't get a heel that's more comfortable than this. Honestly, you can't. And the reason is the cork. I always say the magic is in the cork. The cork is about 1 inch, and you also have when you walk, it's like it flexes and gives and supports when you walk. So, I mean, you literally can run in these shoes. You can do aerobics. You can do it. I mean, I have so many people sending me videos like, oh my God, look how easy this is. I'm like, I know. This is a woman who now I have replaced. I've had ACL replacement. I've ruined my knee. I mean, and 2 broken legs. I literally can wear the 4-inch heels like you for, I say 16 hours. I mean, I wear them from my house on the train to the airport, through the airport, fly to, let's say, Phoenix. I mean, I wear them all day, but I get a lot of compliments and a lot of people stop me and they're just amazed. Who is this crazy woman wearing heels? You can, right?
Yeah. So, okay. I know you have an offer for us, the Unstoppable Angels. What is the offer that you have? Because we are getting close to the end and I just want to make sure we get the offer in there.
All right. Well, as I'd love for everyone to try these awesome heels, I am giving $25 off orders. So if you, Michelle, I'm sure you have your website. You have the website there. If they go there, if they can just add either in the discount code Unstoppable Angels, or they can just scan the code or go to the website and enter that Unstoppable Angels. And everyone will get $25 off every pair. Honest to God, when you try them on, you'll be so impressed, like all of us are.
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for being my guest today. Your story is amazing. The fact that you were able to come back from that car accident to now be a light for so many women who forgot how to be able to have that femininity, because wearing heels makes you feel more like a woman. It just does.
And the confidence is given so many of us, right?
Confidence, yes. And it was so great to have you as my guest today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radicals, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.